Welcome to my B&B Today's Show channel. I hope today fantastic for everyone. Please hit the subscribes button and give this video thumbs up. Steffy's grand gesture, Ridge's suspicious behavior, and Bill's life transformation. Steffy Forrester's grand gesture is revealed in The Bold and the Beautiful, which will undoubtedly make Ridge Forrester suspicious. Let's talk about what's to come on the CBS soap, because Bill Spencer appears to be about to undergo a life change as well. To begin, Liam Spencer can rely on Steffy and Hope Logan to forge a tranquil course of action. Hope will join Steffy in worrying about their ex-boyfriend and how little time he might have left after she learns more about Liam's inoperable mass. Hope and Steffy's rivalry isn't as important as coming together to grant one of Liam's final wishes. Making peace between Steffy and Hope is something Liam really wants to accomplish, so B&B spoilers say they'll be willing to try. As a result, Hope will undoubtedly apologize for her role in the Forrester Creations takeover drama. That'll pave the way for Steffy to allow Hope's return to the company, so she may make a big show about this push for peace when she welcomes Hope back. Of course, Ridge will no doubt raise an eyebrow over Steffy suddenly caving in and calling this truce with Hope. Ridge will be able to question his daughter about what's really going on if Steffy stops disparaging Hope and starts promoting ways they can get along. Brooke, Logan, and Carter Walton might ask Hope some questions, but most of the time, they'll just be happy that Hope is back at Forrester Creations in a better mood. This could give Carter some hope about a romantic reunion. But will Hope find herself stuck on Liam and what might have been as she processes the brain tumor news? Hope's apology may also soften Ridge so they can get back together, according to Brooke. However, Ridge's commitment to Taylor Hayes will prove stronger than Brooke anticipates. We'll see how long it takes Ridge to pop the question once more, because there is a good chance that he will surprise Taylor with a marriage proposal at some point. In the meantime, it would appear that when Bill learns about Liam's condition, his life will be completely transformed. When Bill realizes that Liam is losing his way, it should help him see things from a different angle and inspire him to improve his relationship with his son before it's too late. Bill could, of course, throw some money around and hope that there might be an experimental treatment for Liam. Even if Bill is unsuccessful, he may at least try to use his connections to find some sort of solution. When it comes to figuring out a way to keep Liam alive, Bill might make a prediction about not skipping a beat. Finn blows up marriage with these 7 words. Steffy can't believe what she's hearing. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers hint that John Finnegan may blow up his marriage with 7 words and leave Steffy Forrester struggling to believe what she's hearing. Steffy and Finn have overcome plenty of challenges throughout their relationship, but there's one they haven't quite conquered yet. Although the Luna Nozawa story as a whole has taken a backseat recently, this does not mean that it is over. In point of fact, according to B&B spoilers, Luna will visit Finn at the Cliff House later in the week of May 5th to 9th. Although Steffy tried to ban Luna from Finn's life, Luna won't accept that and will pay her dad an awkward visit. Of course, part of Finn is drawn to Luna and perhaps wonders what would happen if he could finally give her the fatherly support she's craving. Luna will appeal to that part of Finn as she tries to convince him they both deserve a real father-daughter bond. However, things will remain complicated for Finn since he doesn't want to provoke Steffy's wrath and put his family in jeopardy. It's easy to see why there are lingering fears about the threat Luna poses after all the terrible crimes she's committed. Steffy will be furious if she discovers Luna beg Finn in their own home. Steffy might send Luna out the door and remind Finn that he needs to set limits for the sake of their family. Nonetheless, Finn will undoubtedly reflect on Luna's plea in light of the events. The longer Finn stays apart from Luna, the more he's going to wish they could reconnect. Plus, Sheila Sharp will continue to help Luna as she fights for a future that includes her father. At some point, Luna is probably going to wear Finn down. Luna might have to perform a hero's deed, or else she might end up in grave danger. Regardless, there'll likely be something to shake up Finn's world and make him see that he can't live without Luna in it any longer. That's when Finn may go to Steffy with the 7 words that could blow up his marriage. I just can't abandon my daughter anymore. After everything Luna's done, Steffy may have a hard time believing what she's hearing if Finn takes that stance. It could lead to Steffy making some divorce predictions if Finn can't remember what's at stake. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers say another round of bad news could be brewing in Finn and Steffy's marriage, so stick with us for updates on all the turmoil. Steffy's promise, Deacon vs. Carter, Hope's shock. The Bold and the Beautiful recap for Tuesday, May 6, 2025, is finally here. In tomorrow's episode, fans will see Steffy Forrester Finnegan make a promise to Liam Spencer. Meanwhile, Deacon Sharp runs into Carter Walton and Hope Logan. Steffy Forrester Finnegan's promise. At the Cliff House, Steffy tells Liam that a miracle is coming. The patient is confident that if anyone can demand the tumor go away, it's her. Liam suggests the miracle isn't about living longer but about brokering peace. He's determined to use whatever time he has left to help others. John Finnegan enters as Liam nearly collapses. Finn pleads with Liam to make another appointment with Dr. Grace Buckingham's name. According to Finn, they are all hopeful and have not given up. Read more. Find out what happened on the last episode of B&B. Liam suggests they need to be more realistic. Steffy doesn't think peace with Hope is realistic. When Liam's ride arrives, he visits Hope. Steffy reminds him that Hope deserves to know the truth. Peace debates once Liam leaves. Steffy opens up to Finn about not wanting Liam to suffer. Finn adores Steam's harmonious relationship. His goodness has never been questioned by Steffy. The topic turns to whether peace is possible. Steffy just hopes Liam tells Hope the truth. Carter Walton begs. Carter begs Hope to give their relationship another chance at Brooke Logan's house. Deacon walks in and isn't pleased to see Carter with Hope. The COO asserts that the father's wishes are not being disregarded. Hope chimes in that her dad can't tell her who to see. Carter finally leaves, but he says he won't give up on Hope's future. Deacon rants to Hope about Carter. Their conversation is interrupted by Liam, so Deacon leaves. Before he goes out the door, Deacon tells Hope long-term happiness could be closer than she thinks. Hope Logan's discovery. Lope discusses their affection for Beth Spencer. Liam expresses gratitude to his ex-wife for her care of Beth. Liam starts pacing and says he's been doing some soul-searching. Hope can tell that something is wrong. Liam begins to twitch as he recalls Steffy pushing him to tell Hope the truth. Read this. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Bill Spencer pulls out all stops to find a cure. Daphne Rose busted. Over at Forrester Creations, Electra Forrester and Will Spencer are talking. Daphne Rose interrupts, looking for Carter. Electra mentions the COO probably went to see Hope. Daphne mentions they are all better off without Hope's line just as Carter walks in to hear it. Will and Electra make the decision to grant Daphne and Carter some privacy. Electra wonders if Hope knows that Daphne wants Carter. Will is reluctant to discuss Daphne or Hope. He kisses her because he wants to talk about Electra. Liam's situation gets real. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers for Tuesday, May 6, 2025, tease Liam having to face what comes next. Living in denial. When Steffy Forrester Finnegan first told Liam Spencer that he had an inoperable brain tumor and was dying, he refused to believe it. Liam declared that there was no way he was going to accept a death sentence. He was, after all, vegan, so he was immune because of his diet. Liam has slowly begun to accept his fate and agreed to live with John Finnegan and Steffy so they could keep their eyes on him, and so that he could be closer to Kelly Spencer and spend every moment that he could with her. However, he still refuses to tell anyone else about his condition, which is driving Steffy crazy. She knows she needs to get through to Liam soon. Read this. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Steffy leaves town with Liam for experimental treatment. Reality bites. On Tuesday, Liam and Steffy are both forced to deal with the reality of Liam's condition. Is there another episode in which he forces Liam to confront the truth? Will he be aware that he is truly dying? If so, will he finally relent and agree to tell Hope Logan and his family what is going on? Liam's other baby mama needs to know, but so does Bill Spencer. Steffy knows that Liam and Bill left things on a very sour note the last time they saw one another, but that was before Liam knew he had a brain tumor. Learning his son is dying will change everything for Bill. It's possible that Liam didn't want anyone to know the truth, so he could act normal and live in denial. But that's about to change this week. Liam can no longer hide his condition because it is getting worse. It's time for him to face what's going on and lean on the people who love him. Can Steffy get Liam to see this, or will she have to take matters into her own hands? The weight of mortality, legacy, and the maze of interpersonal relationships all converge in a storyline that dares to challenge each character's emotional core in the ever-intensifying world of the Bold and the Beautiful. It begins with Steffy Forrester, A woman who has long walked the tightrope between fierce independence and familial loyalty, making a grand, unexpected gesture that sends ripples throughout the Forrester family and leaves her father, Ridge Forrester, deeply suspicious. Because it is centered on Liam Spencer's devastating diagnosis of an inoperable mass that may soon claim his life, this gesture is not one born out of strategy or business acumen, but rather of heartbreak and humanity. With the knowledge that time is slipping through Liam's fingers, the long-standing rivalry between Steffy and Hope Logan is rendered trivial by comparison. Liam's wish to see unity and peace between the two women who have defined much of his adult life becomes the impetus for change, and Steffy, ever the protective mother and strategic thinker, chooses to honor that wish in a public, dramatic fashion. Hope, having received the gut-wrenching update about Liam's condition, is shaken to her core, and while she's still reeling from the emotional blow, she finds herself determined to mend what was broken, not only for Liam's sake but also for her own healing. As a result, Hope makes a heartfelt apology for the turmoil caused during the hostile takeover attempt at Forrester Creations, which marked one of the lowest points in her and Steffy's shared history. In a surprising turn, Steffy accepts that apology not only privately but publicly, choosing to make her forgiveness a company-wide statement by officially welcoming Hope back into the Forrester fold. She presents it not as a concession, but as a new chapter, one dedicated to unity, compassion, and healing. However, Ridge, who knows his daughter better than most, is not so easily convinced that this sudden olive branch is purely altruistic. His instincts, honed by decades of personal and professional warfare, tell him there's more to the story, and he begins to question Steffy's motives in private moments of introspection and behind closed doors with Taylor. Why, Ridge wonders, is Steffy bending so swiftly after months of tension, especially after her ironclad stance against Hope's return to the company? Ridge will eventually pursue his growing suspicions and confront Steffy, and Hope in the hopes of uncovering emotional, strategic, or even guilt-based hidden truths regarding Liam's grim reality. Meanwhile, Brooke Logan and Carter Walton are also swept up in the emotional undercurrent, both reacting with cautious optimism to Hope's return. Brooke, ever the romantic strategist, sees Hope's newfound vulnerability and remorse as the perfect opening to not only bridge familial gaps, but also to rekindle her long-lost connection with Ridge. Brooke assumes that Hope's gesture of peace may soften Ridge, allowing their own relationship to thaw and perhaps reignite. But Brooke miscalculates. Ridge has evolved. His connection to Taylor Hayes, once a source of confusion and vacillation, now feels stable, meaningful, and grounded in something more permanent than past dalliances. Ridge, feeling the gravitas of his daughter's gesture and Liam's tragic circumstances, is propelled into a contemplative state where he questions his own legacy and romantic future. The more he watches Taylor's calming presence during this storm, the more he feels that maybe, just maybe, she's the woman he was always meant to be with. While Brooke quietly readies herself for a reunion she thinks is inevitable, Ridge is preparing something else entirely. A marriage proposal to Taylor that could upend everything Brooke's been hoping for. In the background, Carter harbors his own silent yearning for a second chance with Hope. He sees her rejoining Forrester Creations, her grace under pressure, her empathy in the face of Liam's condition, and he can't help but wonder if the chapter they never fully began could finally open. But Hope, consumed by grief and what-ifs about Liam, may not be in the emotional space to see Carter's affections clearly. She's torn between the past and the future, between forgiveness and regret, and every moment she spends with Liam now feels both cathartic and haunting. And then there's Bill Spencer, a man whose legacy is steeped in ruthlessness, power, and an often misguided attempt at fatherhood. When the truth of Liam's deteriorating condition reaches Bill, it hits like a freight train. All the missed opportunities, the harsh words, the failures to truly be the father Liam needed. Suddenly they all converge into a suffocating realization. He may lose his son, and there's nothing he can do to stop it. But Bill Spencer isn't a man who accepts defeat easily. Fueled by a desperate need to redeem himself, Bill embarks on what can only be described as a life overhaul. He begins by reassessing his priorities, stepping away from business as usual, and instead pouring his wealth and resources into finding answers. He contacts top neurologists, alternative medicine experts, cutting-edge research facilities, anyone who might offer hope, even if it's the faintest glimmer. Bill vows to leave no stone unturned, and while some may view this as a futile attempt to buy time, Those closest to him can see that it's not about money. It's about love, guilt, and redemption. In the process, Bill begins to mend fences with people he's wronged. He shows genuine humility when he apologizes to Wyatt, reaches out to Brooke, and even shares vulnerable moments with Katie Logan, who begins to see a Bill she thought had been buried for a long time. His emotional transformation is slow but sincere, and it's clear that even if Liam can't be saved, Bill is determined to emerge from this tragedy as a better man. But while Steffy's public act of peace and Bill's private reckoning unfold, another bombshell is brewing in the shadows, one that could detonate Steffy's world yet again. John Finnegan, Steffy's husband and the moral compass of their relationship, is caught in a heartbreaking dilemma that, with just 7 words, could end his marriage. For weeks, the issue of Luna Nozawa, his biological daughter and living reminder of his past, has been pushed to the background, obscured by more immediate dramas. But in Los Angeles, the past doesn't stay hidden for long, and when Luna shows up unannounced at the Cliff House, everything changes. Steffy, having already forbidden Luna from contacting Finn, sees this as an act of betrayal and intrusiveness. She obeys her instincts and tells Luna to leave, asserting her right to defend her family and home from potential danger. But what Steffy doesn't realize is how deeply Luna's presence affects Finn. She represents a connection he never fully explored, a bond severed before it had a chance to grow. In addition, Finn's emotional as well as physical reaction to Luna's pleas for her to enter is one of awakening something dormant within him. Later, as tensions rise and Steffy demands an explanation, Finn utters 7 words that change everything. "I want to know my daughter." The balance changes at that instant. Steffy is stunned, blindsided by the declaration, and reeling from the implications. In addition to defying her wishes, her husband is prioritizing another person's emotional need over their shared boundaries. The betrayal cuts deep, not because of Luna herself, but because of what Finn's words represent. A crack in their marital unity, a willingness to prioritize a stranger over his own wife's sense of security. Steffy, already emotionally frayed from Liam's illness and the demands of leadership at Forrester, suddenly finds herself questioning everything: her marriage, her trust in Finn, her capacity to keep her family intact. Steffy spirals inward over the next few days, as she tries to reconcile the opulence of her actions with the unraveling of her personal life. She believed she was doing everything right, including respecting Liam's dying wishes, cultivating peace with hope, assisting in the stability of her father, and raising their children with love and discipline. Steffy, on the other hand, feels more isolated than ever as a result of Ridge questioning her motives, Finn rejecting her rules, and Luna intruding into the fragile areas of her marriage. And yet, in typical Steffy fashion, she doesn't crumble. She adjusts again. She starts asking herself what kind of future she wants, not just for her family but for herself. Is it a future in which she learns to let go and trust even when it's terrifying, or one in which she controls every variable? He begins to see echoes of his own past mistakes in her current struggles as he watches from the sidelines, caught between his loyalty to his daughter and his unease about her recent choices. He understands the need to keep everything together, the fear of emotional chaos, and the tight grip on control. And perhaps in that recognition, Ridge finally understands that Steffy's grand gesture wasn't about optics or manipulation. It was a cry for stability in a world she feels is constantly shifting beneath her feet. The Bold and the Beautiful once more demonstrates that even in a city of glamour and gold, it is the messy, painful, and vulnerable aspects of being human that carry the most weight. As all these threads intertwine, Steffy's gesture, Ridge's suspicions, Bill's transformation, and Finn's heartbreaking ultimatum, The Bold and the Beautiful once again demonstrates this point. With the clock ticking down on Liam's life, and every character forced to confront their own truths, we are left with a story not of endings, but of metamorphosis. Love, in all its forms, romantic, paternal, platonic, becomes the catalyst for both redemption and ruin. Steffy's grand gesture, Ridge suspicious Bill's life overhaul. A deep dive into The Bold and the Beautiful's latest drama is a deep dive into The Bold and the Beautiful's latest drama. And as the chapter's final act draws near, one truth is clear: nothing stays buried forever. The world of The Bold and the Beautiful is never short of high-stakes drama, emotional confrontations, and life-altering revelations. The latest storyline, centered around Steffy Forrester's grand gesture, Ridge Forrester's suspicions, and Bill Spencer's impending life overhaul promises to deliver another wave of intense storytelling. This arc intertwines themes of reconciliation, mortality, familial bonds, and romantic entanglements, creating a rich tapestry of conflict and resolution that will keep fans on the edge of their seats. Steffy and Hope's fragile truce. At the heart of this narrative is the tentative peace between Steffy Forrester and Hope Logan. Their rivalry has been a cornerstone of B&B for years, fueled by love triangles, corporate power struggles, and personal betrayals. However, Liam Spencer's devastating diagnosis and inoperable brain tumor forces them to reevaluate their animosity. The storyline becomes driven by Liam's desire to see his two most beloved women reconcile. Hope, upon learning of Liam's condition, is consumed by grief and regret. Her past actions during the Forrester creations weigh heavily on her, prompting a heartfelt apology to Steffy. This moment of vulnerability marks a turning point, as Steffy, despite her lingering resentment, recognizes the importance of granting Liam's wish for harmony. Not only is her decision to welcome Hope back to Forrester Creations a professional concession, but it is also a deeply personal one. Steffy's sudden change of heart, on the other hand, is questioned by Rich Forrester, always skeptical. His suspicions hint at underlying tensions. Does Steffy have ulterior motives, or is she genuinely prioritizing Liam's peace over their feud? The romantic crossroads of Ridge. Meanwhile, Ridge's personal life remains as complicated as ever. Stability has come from his rekindled relationship with Taylor Hayes, but drama is always coming from Brooke Logan's presence in his life. Hope's return to Forrester Creations and her reconciliation with Steffy might lead Brooke to believe that Ridge could soften toward her as well. However, Ridge's commitment to Taylor appears unwavering, with spoilers suggesting a potential marriage proposal in the near future. This romantic subplot underscores the show's enduring theme of love's complexities. Ridge's journey, torn between past passions and present commitments, mirrors the broader struggles of the characters around him. Will he stay loyal to Taylor, or will Brooke's enduring influence create another rift? The extent to which Liam's illness affects the Forrester-Logan Spencer dynamic as a whole may determine the answer. Bill Spencer's redemption arc. Perhaps the most emotionally charged development is Bill Spencer's impending transformation. Known for his ruthless business tactics and often contentious relationships, Bill is poised for a profound reckoning. Learning of Liam's terminal condition shatters him, forcing a stark reevaluation of his priorities. The once unflappable mogul is reduced to a desperate father, willing to spend his fortune and leverage every connection to find a cure for his son. Bill's storyline is a classic tale of redemption. A man who has spent years wielding power suddenly rendered powerless in the face of mortality. Even though their relationship has been fraught with conflict, his frantic efforts to save Liam, whether through experimental treatments or last-ditch medical consultations, highlight his love for his son. In addition, this arc paves the way for possible encounters with other characters, particularly Steffy and Hope, as they deal with their own grief and resentment regarding Liam's fate. Finn and Steffy's marital strain. Steffy is focusing on Liam while her marriage to Finn is going through its own crisis. The unresolved tension surrounding Luna Nozawa, Finn's long-lost daughter, threatens to explode when Luna boldly visits the Cliff House, defying Steffy's ban. Finn is forced to choose between his paternal instincts and his wife's demands due to Luna's appeal for a father-daughter bond. The brewing conflict culminates in Finn's potential declaration, "I just can't abandon my daughter anymore," a statement that could fracture his marriage. Steffy may view Finn's position as a betrayal because of Luna's past wrongdoings, leading to threats of divorce. This subplot explores themes of forgiveness, loyalty, and the boundaries of family,